Good morning, everybody. So today I wanted to cover just briefly the case of a gentleman named Derrick Jaxn. Derrick is a self-proclaimed um, relationship guru and self-love ambassador. And so it's come out, of course, that he was actually leading a double life and cheating on his wife. And so I want to show you guys just really quickly because for anybody who's ever grown up with a narcissist or anyone who's had a narcissist in their lives, whether that's a parent or a friendship, a sibling, or a romantic relationship, then you'll understand some of the things that we're going to look at in this video. So I first want to go to his website where you can see he has himself plastered here. You know, with his name here, he calls himself self-love ambassador and entrepreneur. And then immediately when you scroll down, what is the first thing you see? Healed Together book for $20. Heal together without hurting each other. And you'll see why this is so narcissistic and cruel in a moment. I first want to go to a video. And this video is, well, you won't believe this, but when it first came out, right, that he was having multiple affairs, he first tried to deny it. And then once these women started coming forward with proof, he then does this very bizarre way of addressing it. He first does a live stream with his wife, and then they do this very awkward video where he does his apology or confession. And it's then that he does something fascinating and truly grotesque. He does a reaction video to his own apology video, and he does it completely in the third person. And so we're going to look at this video now, and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on this as somebody who has grown up with a narcissist. Okay. I'm going to make this full screen, and we're going to start from the beginning. Remember, he is reacting to himself, to his own video, his own apology video. And this is going to become even more disturbing as we go ahead and learn several things. Now, just some background before we get into this. He started out in 2012 by writing a blog, and he chronicled in this blog like how he lost his college sweetheart. That is his current wife. And so he then, when they got back together, started chronicling that, their reconciliation, and he's sharing basically their relationship on social media. In typical narcissist fashion, it's the oversharing and the need for attention. And so keep that in mind as we begin to watch this.
What's going on, guys? Derrick Jaxn here, and today I am joined by my lovely wife, Danae, and we just wanted to address a couple of things. You know, we understand that some of you may have already heard, maybe not, that this chapter of our marriage is one that was preceded by a marriage that I completely failed. And I would say it just started around August, maybe September of last year. But, you know, a lot has been said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true, some of it is completely false. But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women outside the marriage. So the same way that I preach, you know, men and women in this situation.
So here's what's interesting. If you're looking at this video, this was his apology video, which came before. You notice what he did there. He once again referred to himself in the third person, and this is the reaction video. He's going to do the same thing. So I think that one of the things that makes that interesting is that he's already demonstrating to us how he was able to dissociate himself while making relationship videos. In Naruto, this is called Izanagi, right? He's trying to fool himself.
Need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Jaxn's no exemption. He's not exempt from that.
He's doing it again, referring to himself in the third person. Derrick Jaxn isn't exempt from that. But you, sir, are Derrick Jaxn. That's you. And so, I think that one of the things that immediately comes to mind here is that this is a man who needs professional help. And his wife does too, as you'll see. She needs to cut him off because unfortunately, she's not helping him. She's enabling him and his narcissistic abuse. So I want to show you also some of the body language here. You can see he's gripping her hand. He's not holding her hand like in a supportive manner. He's gripping it. And so, you can see that she's sort of almost like she's trying to back away from him. Look at the slant here of her body language. And I think that him gripping her like that is the narcissist's need to control. They have to control the situation. They have to feel like they're in control of the situation. And then he's immediately gaslighting throughout this entire thing. And it's extremely manipulative. And I just also want to put a caveat out here that I am not any kind of psychology expert. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I am simply somebody who has lived with narcissists and experienced narcissistic abuse. And so I find it important to put my commentary out there for other people who may have been in a similar situation. This is just my opinion. It's not any kind of diagnosis. I'm simply commenting on what my thoughts are with this particular situation and situations that might be like this, that might be similar. Now, another thing that the narcissist does is character trait acquisition. So when you're around a narcissist, they'll sort of mimic the things that you do. They'll try to mimic your body language and your mannerisms, your patterns of speech, and they're going to try to mirror that back to you because it's going to create this false impression of trustworthiness.
I'm also not a victim. Nobody made me do this. She didn't make me or push me to do it. The next person didn't make me. No friend influenced me. It don't matter how I was raised and what trauma, whatever. Look, I made decisions. I made a series of decisions that I got to account for. There's no excuse or justification. I've already made that bed and have had to lie in it. And now we're finally getting on to the other side personally in our own healing, in our own marital oneness. And now this is being made public to you guys. So we're bringing that forth to you guys to let you know where we're at with that. But did you want to say anything?
Yes, so I do want to just...
And so he says, do you want to say anything? He hasn't really given her a chance to speak here. And nobody knew really about her. It's not like he had advertised that he had a wife or that she'd been featured in any videos with him before. That is actually something new. And a lot of people posted in the comments that they weren't even aware of her. So, part of this is the toxicity, the toxic behaviors of the narcissist. And you can see him really like leaning into her here. This is part of also, some of the things you're going to notice as we go through this. Some of the traits of the narcissist is they put all of this stuff out on social media. Narcissists love social media. It gives them a playground with which to get their narcissistic fuel from the attention of others. They need attention from others. They need validation. They're extremely self-absorbed and they lack empathy. So that's part of why they do the character trait acquisition and the mimicry and mirroring of others, because they're trying to mirror real empathy, which they lack. They're not able to feel it. Another thing with narcissists is lack of boundary recognition. You can see this in how he's leaning into her personal space like that, because they don't have a strong grasp of boundaries, and they can't see them, and as we'll get into this, you'll see also the sense of entitlement. He feels he's entitled to do all the things that he's done, right? To lie to people, to lead a double life, to ruin relationships. This was a man who blasted other men for cheating, for not treating women right. He would tell women, you need your crown, girl. He should be treating you like a queen. And he told other women to dump men who had maybe cheated on them or were not treating them right. And so you can see this sense of grandiosity where he doesn't have to live by those standards. And it doesn't faze him at all that he has ruined relationships by giving toxic advice to people and creating an unrealistic image. It's a very crafted and managed personality that he's putting forward to the public. It is image and reputation management, right? So they're giving you a very false look at somebody, and it creates something that no real person could live up to, including Derrick Jaxn himself. He was not living up to the words that he was preaching. And interestingly, his wife did not leave him. So she's not taking the advice that he gave to other women who he said to just dump men. Now, another thing to consider is that this man has amassed over 1 million views and followers. I think that's, it's very important to call these people out when they're in such a position of privilege and influence over the lives of other people. And another thing that, as it relates to the narcissists, infidelity is common with them because, number one, they lack empathy for others. They lack boundary recognition, so it doesn't bother them to do these things, right? And the cheating provides them with narcissistic fuel. So this is very revealing.
Just add that I agree with what he just said. There is no justification for bringing other women into our marriage on any level. When I found out about it, I left. I did not hesitate or waste time to do so. And I stayed gone. No matter how many times he came, I stayed gone and stood firm on, I am not coming back. And I did not come back until I seen a shift and a change in his mentality. So there's nothing out there right now that is information that I don't already know about or haven't known about. And so this is not something that is new. We have moved forward from it. We have gotten counsel for it and continue to do so. He is still continuing to pursue God and continuing to seek guidance and wise counsel from men of God. So today, where I'm at is at peace, and I proudly stand by his side, and I have no hesitation, I have no hurt, no shame about that. We have already turned a new chapter in this story. We are continuing to move forward, and we are just now sharing that with you. I forgave him, and most importantly, God has first forgiven him, and I also forgive the others as well. And with that, we are free and moving forward. So
one of the things I want to highlight here is that his wife is a very religious woman, but unfortunately, she does not have spiritual discernment. She looks at his cheating and sort of blames it on the devil in spiritual warfare. And what she doesn't have a grasp on is free will, that yes, the devil tempts people, but you open the door for it. The devil does not have that kind of power over you unless you are weak and you succumb to it. So what she's saying here is actually abusive of God. And it's very sad. I think that this is a woman who is clearly has a sort of like battered wife syndrome, where she has internalized the abuse of the narcissist. And the narcissist will often pick on their partner. They will put them down. They will ridicule them. They will say, this is all your fault. If only you did this, if only you treated me better, if only you gave me more attention, if only you lost some weight, if only you made yourself more attractive. I mean, this is how the narcissist will talk to the person, the victim that they're choosing to abuse. And so what she's doing here is enabling him. And while she said she's forgiven everybody and that God has forgiven them, it's yes, in the one sense she's correct that yes, God forgives people and Christ calls us to forgive people, but only if they have genuinely repented and changed the behavior. Derrick has not done that. He continues to cheat on her. He continues to lie. He did not choose to come forward on his own. He initially denied. Denial, of course, is a major part of the narcissist and their sense of grandiosity. They cannot admit to wrongdoing. And so, unfortunately, what she's doing here is enabling the abuse to continue. And I really feel bad for her. And I would encourage her to get help herself. She needs to speak with a mental health expert. They should be in some kind of marriage counseling if she does choose to stay with him. But look, I would tell her, you need to leave. You need to cut this man off, cut off communication, and you need to work on yourself. You have your own healing that you need to do.
Absolutely.
That's all I have.
If you get nothing else from what I've ever said over the last 9 years or right here in this video, please get this. Nothing is right until it is right with God. Nothing works until it comes into alignment with biblical standard of how God told us to do things, especially when we're talking about a marital, spiritual covenant.
Yes.
Oh, now he cares about the biblical covenant of a marriage. Now he cares about God. But just a few weeks before the scandal broke, he was saying that he didn't believe in God. So that's very convenient. And what I'll tell you, Derrick, is that God will not be mocked.
You cannot do this by your own understanding, your own intelligence, your own willpower, your own values. You have to have the grace of God to break free from certain things, to stay away from certain things, to not operate from your lowest self, whatever it may be.
So, when I looked in the comments of this video, I don't know if old boy was trolling or not, but he said, D, I think I want to see a reaction to this video. So, let's do it. And by the way, I'm gonna speak in third person. A lot of you already seen this, but this is Derrick Jaxn. A lot of people think of him as a relationship expert.
He's talking about himself right now, and he's claiming that somebody posted in the comment to that video with him and his wife, oh, D, I'd like to see a reaction video to this. I don't know if that ever happened or not. He's since taken down that video and deleted it. And so we don't have a way to verify if anybody actually asked him to do this. Now, what I think he's doing here is he's deflecting, just like he did in that video with his wife, where he deflected all of his behavior. And so, speaking in the third person, the other thing about that is he's absolving himself of any accountability and responsibility, because it's not me I'm talking about. I'm talking about Derrick Jaxn. Listen to this. It's pure narcissism. And he's also displaying traits of sociopathy as well. And by the way, look, they have children together, and I'm just horrified for those kids.
and guru and all of that. Well, he and his wife are making this video because apparently at some point in their marriage, or maybe even beforehand in the relationship, he didn't take his own advice and he stepped out and he got involved with other women, as you heard them say. Now, upon first impression, nothing really stuck out to me about him, but more so about the wife. Like, I heard her say that she stands with her husband, she's proud to love him. I heard her say that, you know, this is some time ago, they've already processed this, overcame this, dealt with this a long time ago, and nothing's really new to her. But just
nothing really stuck out to me about the man. So again, he's referring to himself and he's now, of course, deflecting. Nothing really stands out to me about the man, but the wife. So once again, he shifts sort of the blame onto the wife, and it's extremely sad, in my opinion, that she does not see this for the sociopath and narcissist that he is. She does not know that that's what she is dealing with.
just by her body language, I was really wondering, like, did he force her to do this video? Like, she looks super uncomfortable, like she doesn't want to be there. But then I watched their live chat that they did right afterwards, and, you know, I kind of caught that this is just a part of her personality, so that kind of explains somewhat of her demeanor. You know, she clearly has a mind of her own if you saw the live chat too.
So he just explained away her body language. He just told us that if we noticed that she was uncomfortable in that video and maybe didn't want to be there and perhaps was being forced to participate in that, oh no, that's actually not true. And really, she just, you know, she's got a mind of her own. So he just explained away her body language.
And she said that the live chat even was her idea. So with that, cool. She wants to stand by her husband. She feels like he's worth it. She has that right. Now, as far as what he said,
But that's not what you've told other women, is it? That's not what you've told other women. You've told other women that they should be treated like a queen and they should demand their crown. You have not told other women that it's cool if they want to stand by their man if their man has cheated on them. You have gone after men and you've been extremely judgmental to them. You've ripped apart other men who were cheating on their wives, and you've told these women not to forgive these men and to find somebody else, move on to some other man that will give them their crown. It's extremely hypocritical.
Understand and I completely applaud him taking accountability, because too many times we see dudes and they got this sob story about how they was raised and, you know, they broken home and the goldfish died and they never seen a marriage and all that. He didn't do that. He just took accountability. But I hope he understands that all the accountability in the world is not going to rebuild broken trust. Not on a personal level, and even with the public that he's addressing. Like, even his most loyal supporters at this point will probably have a raised eyebrow from this point forward whenever he wants to condemn another man for something like this, and rightfully so. So hopefully.
Well, wait a second. He does not have the right to condemn any other man ever again. But he's already acting like he's going to go right back to doing the same kind of videos that he was already doing and giving out the advice he was already giving out. And so you can see that this is not genuine remorse here. He's already planning on doing the next, moving on with it. And so this is bizarre behavior. And I just, you know, once again, I feel very sad for the wife.
He understands that. And I also thought it was very intriguing how he brought in God at the end. You know, I don't really hear him speak like that. So, you know, do it God's way or else it's going to fail. Now, if I saw that a couple of years ago, I honestly would have called BS. I honestly would have been like, nah, dude, like, you can't use God as a scapegoat, you know, as if you not having Jesus is why you did what you did. Like, if Jesus was there with you when you was with those other women, Jesus would have zipped up your zipper for you. That's not how it worked. Like, who are you kidding? But now I have a relationship with God for myself, so I hear things a little bit differently. And what I heard whenever he said that was that, you know, when you go into a godly commitment, which marriage is supposed to be, you can't lean on your own understanding. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by your own willpower, your own good intentions and vows and love for a person. If you go into a godly commitment, you have to lean on God. You have to do things like to God's standard. You have to rely on God's grace. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it for the long term. And that I can personally relate to. Now, regardless, whether you like him, love him, or hate him, I think this is a great example as to why we don't need to be putting anybody on the pedestal. Nobody. And I think a lot of women did that. And I'm not even gonna say it's the women's fault by themselves, because this dude, he never really showed his struggle. You know, we understand, oh, we're all humans and we all make mistakes, but he never showed those mistakes, not for real. I think he wrote about it or something like that.
He just shifted the blame now to his own audience for putting him on a pedestal. He's now blaming his own audience. Well, it's your fault for listening to me in the first place. It's your fault for believing me and putting me up on a pedestal. No, Derrick, the reason that they did that was because you lied to them. You were dishonest with your audience. You encouraged them to put you on a pedestal. You acted like you were different from all these other men, and all these other men were horrible and bad. You were the one being judgmental of other men and their shortcomings and their sins and mistakes, which you said were irredeemable and unforgivable. So once again, the narcissist deflects and puts the blame on the others. So some of his loyal fans who have followed him for almost a decade are going to hear that and go, did I maybe do something wrong? Did I, put too much pressure on him? This is what a classic narcissistic abuse, not really taking accountability, as he just said that he did. Oh, he took accountability. No, you didn't, Derrick. We're talking about you, not he. Doing this in the third person. How stunning.
But he never showed that side, so it's not really all on the women. But I've seen a lot of women put this dude on the pedestal to the point of idealizing him and even comparing their man to him. Like they'll compare their man's good, bad, and ugly whole story to Derrick Jaxn's snippet. Which is, of course, a standard nobody can meet consistently. That's like a dude taking a picture of another woman who's in shape and she got a 4-pack and, she just beautiful and all of that stuff and her body's just super tight, and him comparing his woman to that woman because his woman got a couple extra pounds from having a baby. Meanwhile, he don't know that woman in the picture may not even be able to have children. She may be struggling with that and coping with it by working out 2-3 times a day. She may have an unhealthy body image, and that's why she works out obsessively and consistently and looks so good. Like, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's wise to ever idealize somebody or compare them. Like, not only because somebody can be living a double life, which I don't think is quite the case here, according to his wife, behind the scenes, without anybody knowing. And of course, this part ain't gonna blow up, but he's been.
But you were living a double life. You've lied to your audience for years. And I'm sure this wasn't a one-off thing. We already, in fact, know that it wasn't. One of his mistresses got pregnant and had to have an abortion, and there were multiple ones. And in fact, this video he's filming right here, he's outside his mistress's house while he's filming this video, claiming he is a changed man and having the audacity to bring the Lord into it.
Been putting in the work to kind of reconstruct what all had been broken since last year. So I don't think it's a double life thing, but you don't know what struggle somebody has behind the scenes. You don't know their shortcomings. You don't know where they're falling short. So it's just not wise to compare, on any level. Nonetheless, I know some people will see this type of video, even though he's come forward and he's been completely honest. Some people are just going to close the book on D. Some people are going to close the book on this dude and say, you know what? I'm done with you. Cancel culture. Come here. I'm more so on the side of his wife and just basically letting this be a new chapter of how I see him, because I do believe that his content over the years has helped a tremendous amount of people. He tells the truth. He speaks facts. And quite honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I've needed several new chapters in my own life, Lord knows. And I'm not ashamed to say it, but I'm no guru. Those are just my thoughts. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. And by the way, he has a book detailing how he and his wife overcame all of this in their private lives a long time ago, matter of fact. It's called Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other. So if you're in a situation like this, you want to let God in to totally restore it better than new, click the link down in the bio or up in the bio in the caption. I got a 50% off deal for you guys who are watching this video right now. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.
So you just heard him
hurting each other. So if you're in a situation like this, you want to let God in to totally restore it better than new, click the link down in the bio or up in the bio in the caption. I got a 50% off deal for you guys who are watching this video right.
He just tried to do the promo code thing. He just tried to sell you his book at a discount. I mean, this is stunning. There's zero self-awareness. There's zero remorse for his behavior. And now he's trying to sell another book to people and then using God to do so. So this is a perfect example of what a narcissist looks like and what narcissistic abuse is. With that being said, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not even going to go into some of the other things because I just don't think it's helpful. I think that you've seen several ways in which this man is extremely sociopathic and narcissistic. And that's my take on this.